The sky remains clear, yet his demeanor shifts instantaneously. His body tenses, his ears swivel like sophisticated sensors, his eyes fixate on something beyond your perception. No sound, no drop of rain, no visible harbinger. Yet, he already knows. Before anyone else, even before the storm itself betrays its impending arrival. Why does this occur? How does he detect something your eyes and ears have yet to register? You are about to comprehend the underlying mechanisms of this seemingly mysterious behavior, which is, in fact, scientifically grounded. And perhaps, afterward, you will never view your horse's fear in the same light. Horses can sense an approaching storm minutes, sometimes hours, in advance. This is not hyperbole, it is biology. They perceive alterations in the electromagnetic field, shifts in atmospheric pressure, and environmental cues that elude the majority of humans. Their bodies function as an innate alert system. What you perceive as nervousness is, in reality, a response to tangible, invisible stimuli. This has significant implications, particularly when addressing fear, training, or safety. In this video, you will discover precisely what changes in the environment as a storm draws near, and how your horse's body reacts to these changes. We will delve into static electricity, airborne ions, cutaneous sensitivity, and other factors that render this animal an exceptionally precise biological radar. But that is not all. At the conclusion, I will reveal something few comprehend: how this same instinct that instills fear in them can also pave the way for forging a deeper bond of trust between you. Indeed, what appears to be a behavioral issue today might actually be an opportunity for connection. Stay until the end, because this explanation will fundamentally alter your perspective on fear, danger, and the survival instinct, and it has the potential to completely transform your relationship with your horse. Before we commence, if you aspire to understand equine behavior beyond the superficial, subscribe to Inside Horses. Here, each video meticulously dissects the true drivers behind these animals, reactions, emotions, and responses. And share in the comments. Have you ever witnessed your horse react before the rain arrived? What exactly did he do? Your experience could be the missing piece that enables someone to grasp this phenomenon with greater clarity. Let's get straight to the point, because what you are about to witness may be surprising. For centuries, ranchers have observed this very phenomenon. When horses grew restless for no apparent reason, when they huddled in the corner of the pasture, when their ears twitched incessantly, they knew the storm was coming, and they would say, with the certainty of those who have witnessed it 1,000 times, that horses could sense the weather, as if they possessed a supernatural sixth sense, a mystical connection to the heavens. And they were correct about the behavior, but entirely mistaken about the cause, because what seems like intuition, premonition, or even magic to us is, in reality, something far more extraordinary: pure biology, a collection of ultra-refined physiological perceptions, so precise they make our own senses seem crude and lagging. Horses do not predict the future. They listen to the present on frequencies that humankind has forgotten how to hear. The natural world speaks constantly. It speaks in atmospheric pressures, in vibrations that traverse the earth, in chemical scents carried by the wind, in electrical fields that dance invisibly in the air. And the horse, an animal that evolved on open grasslands under immense skies, is a perfect translator of this invisible language. When barometric pressure drops sharply, it feels the shift in weight upon its body. When ozone spreads through the air before lightning strikes, it detects the metallic tang that heralds electricity. When thunder is still miles away, too distant for the human ear to catch, it already hears the low rumble traveling through the ground. So here is the truth that changes everything. Horses do not have superpowers. They have simply never lost the senses that we humans have allowed to atrophy. While we built cities, walls, and roofs, while we distanced ourselves from the earth and the sky, our bodies forgot how to read the world around us, but theirs have not. They remain connected. Every fiber of their being has been sculpted by evolution for a singular mission: to perceive danger before it arrives. And the storm, with its thunder, winds, and lightning, has always been one of the greatest perils they have faced. Thus, nature equipped them with sensors so sophisticated that even today, science remains astonished. And what you are about to discover will make you look at your horse in an entirely different light. Now, consider this for a second. If they sense the storm before you do, what else do they sense? What else passes unnoticed by you, but shouts to their senses? Stay with me, because the answer to that question is hidden in millions of years of evolution, and that's precisely where we're headed now. To grasp why horses perceive thunderstorms with such uncanny accuracy, you must journey back in time, millions of years ago. Envision vast, treeless plains, devoid of any shelter, just windswept grasses beneath an immense, unforgiving sky. There roamed the ancestors of modern horses, small, vulnerable creatures, facile prey, surrounded by pack-hunting predators that stalked under the cloak of night, exploiting storms to approach undetected. In this brutal world, survival hinged on a single imperative: detecting peril before it materialized. There was no room for error, no allowance for hesitation. Either you sensed the atmospheric shift, or you perished. It was within this relentless crucible that every one of a horse's senses was forged, honed, and perfected. Their hearing evolved to capture sounds from miles away. Their ears developed independent musculature, enabling each to swivel autonomously, meticulously mapping their surroundings in every direction simultaneously. A distant rumble of thunder, so faint as to be utterly imperceptible to you, reaches their ears as a distinct whisper, laden with critical information. Their sense of smell adapted to identify ozone, that peculiar metallic, faintly sweet aroma that permeates the air when electrical charges build prior to a downpour. To you, it's merely an odd scent. To them, it's a flashing red alert. Electrical danger is imminent, but the marvels don't cease there. The horse's skin is a tapestry of millions of microscopic sensory receptors, so exquisitely sensitive they detect subtle fluctuations in the air's static electricity. This is why, mere seconds before a lightning strike, you might observe their manes bristling, the hairs on their necks rising as if touched by an unseen hand. Their very bodies feel the nascent electrical field forming in the heavens. And there's more. Their hooves, those hardened structures that connect them to the earth with every stride, function as vibration sensors. While thunder may still be too remote to be heard through the air, it travels through the ground as a profound, low-frequency wave, ascending their legs and registering in their brains as an urgent warning. Something colossal is approaching. All of this coalesces into an integrated alert system, so precise, so remarkably efficient, that a horse doesn't merely anticipate a storm's arrival. They feel its every facet, its direction, its intensity, its velocity. It is as if their entire being is a scientific instrument, calibrated by nature over eons, to interpret an invisible world. And here lies the most captivating point. These instincts have not waned. Even after millennia of domestication, even while residing in stables, enveloped by humans, shielded from predators, the modern horse still harbors that ancestral radar within. It still perceives what you do not. It still senses what eludes your awareness. And when a storm looms, this latent heritage awakens. It's as if time regresses, as if, for a fleeting instant, it sheds its domestic guise and reverts to its wild origins. And this, precisely, is what imbues this moment with such profound power. For when you witness your horse's reaction to the tempest, you are not observing irrational fear. You are witnessing eons of accumulated wisdom. You are beholding the earth articulating itself through this creature. And now that this understanding is yours, the inevitable corollary question arises. What transpires when this primal instinct collides with the contemporary world we have meticulously constructed around them? The answer will undoubtedly astonish you, and it is forthcoming. Envision a herd grazing in an open expanse. The sky remains unblemished, the sun illuminates the golden grasses, and an aura of absolute serenity pervades. But abruptly, one of the horses elevates its head. Its ears swivel towards the horizon. It remains motionless, merely observing. Seconds later, another horse mimics the action, and then another, and yet another. Within minutes, the entire herd stands frozen, their forms immobile, their ears uniformly directed, as though an invisible switch has been actuated. The storm is still miles distant. No human observer has registered any anomaly, but they are aware. The intelligence has already propagated to them, not through sight, not through audible sound, but via something far more elemental: atmospheric vibration. The air has subtly altered its density. The barometric pressure has descended, and every being within that field has perceived the shift as if it were a tangible caress. Ethologists who meticulously study animal behavior have documented this phenomenon in wild horses inhabiting the Gobi Desert. Hours prior to the advent of precipitation, the herd would begin to coalesce. The foals were strategically positioned at the core of the aggregation. The dominant mares assumed vantage points along the periphery. The elder stallions maintained a vigilant guard, their senses acutely attuned. No directives were issued, No vocalizations were exchanged. The decision emerged from a collective instinct, a sagacity inherited through countless generations. And when the heavens finally opened, when the initial thunderclaps reverberated and lightning rent the atmosphere, they were already prepared, not startled, not in a state of panic, but harmonized with nature's rhythm, as if intrinsically a part of the tempest itself. Now consider something even more captivating. Horses don't merely sense the storm, they communicate about it. Researchers at the University of Sussex in the United Kingdom discovered that when a horse detects extreme weather shifts, its behavior subtly changes in ways perceptible to others. A head movement, a shift in breathing cadence, a prolonged gaze, and the other horses, even without witnessing the initial stimulus, begin to react as well. It's as if the information propagates through the herd wordlessly, soundlessly, solely through nearly imperceptible bodily signals. This cultivates a collective early warning system so efficacious that, within mere seconds, an entire group can be poised for flight or defense. And here's the detail that reconfigures everything. This very system functions with you. When you are near your horse during a storm, it doesn't just feel the weather, it feels you. The tension in your muscles, the velocity of your respiration, your heart's rhythm. If you are composed, it interprets this as a signal that the danger is manageable. If you are agitated, it perceives this as confirmation that something is amiss. It's as if, at that moment, you are both inextricably linked by an invisible thread of emotional intelligence. This elucidates why some riders can assuage their horses during storms simply by their presence, by breathing deeply, by projecting confidence through their physicality. It isn't training, it's ancestral communication. It's the horse recognizing in you a herd member, someone to rely upon when the world descends into chaos. But herein lies the unasked question. What transpires when this flawless instinct, this warning system honed over millennia, clashes with the world we have constructed around them? What occurs when nature dictates flee and edifices command remain? Now, envision this. The same horse, the same storm approaching, but this time, it is ensconced within a sealed stable. 4 walls, a door, no windows to survey the horizon. The air begins to alter. The pressure drops. Thunder begins to resonate within the wooden partitions. Every cell in its body is vociferating. Move, prepare, escape if necessary. Yet it cannot. There is nowhere to go. Its limbs, engineered for traversing miles across open plains, are confined to a space of mere square meters. And then something terrible transpires within him. Instinct wages war against restraint. The consequence? Agitation, sweat trickling down his neck, labored breathing. Some horses begin to circle, others stamp their hooves, still others whinny desperately, calling for companionship, for movement, for anything that makes sense within the ancient code they carry. And here's the crux of the matter that no one divulges. He isn't being difficult. He isn't disobeying. He isn't challenging you. He is obeying the very genetic blueprint that has kept his ancestors alive for millennia. His body is designed to process fear through motion. Running releases adrenaline. Rejoining the herd mitigates stress. Movement creates the illusion of control over the uncontrollable. And when you strip that away from him, when you confine him to a confined space during a storm, you are not protecting. You are engendering an internal conflict so profound that the animal becomes trapped between 2 worlds, the world of primal survival and the realm of modern domestication. And this conflict inflicts unseen damage. Researchers at the University of Guelph in Canada measured cortisol levels, the stress hormone, in horses during thunderstorms. Horses in open fields, with ample room to maneuver and regroup, exhibited brief surges of stress that quickly normalized. Conversely, horses confined to closed stables maintained elevated cortisol levels for hours after the storm had subsided. The body was incapable of processing the fear. The mind could not complete the instinctive cycle. The outcome was a silent, invisible trauma, accumulating with each successive tempest. This elucidates why certain horses develop extreme phobias of thunder and rain. It is not a deficiency. It is the consequence of repeatedly thwarted instinct. A biological imperative frustrated time and again. But when you apprehend this, when you perceive his behavior through this lens, empathy supplants control. You cease to think, he's giving me trouble, and begin to consider, he's endeavoring to survive in the only manner he knows. And this paradigm shift opens a portal, a gateway to a deeper, more authentic connection, one more consonant with his true nature. For his fear is not irrational, it is profoundly rational. It is the voice of eons whispering, protect yourself, move, rejoin. And when you become the answer to that voice, When you offer presence instead of control, calm instead of force, you are not merely soothing a frightened horse. You are honoring a sacred instinct, and that is where true magic unfolds. Magic that science is only beginning to comprehend, and that you are on the cusp of discovering. Horses. Sensitivity to storms is so advanced that science has begun utilizing them as bioindicators of climate change. On experimental farms in Europe, their behaviors of restlessness and huddling are monitored and recorded to predict storms even before the most sophisticated weather sensors detect shifts in atmospheric pressure. They have, quite literally, become living weather instruments. But there is something even more extraordinary at play. Something that completely reframes our understanding of fear, protection, and bonding. Recent research reveals that during times of climatic tension, horses in a group synchronize their heartbeats with one another. This is not a metaphor, it is pure physiology. They enter cardiac coherence, as if the entire herd breathes in unison, as if all hearts beat to a single, shared rhythm. This phenomenon, termed social stress regulation, unveils something profound about these animals. Nature. Evolution has not solely taught fear, it has also taught solace. And here lies the game-changing revelation. When you are near your horse during a storm, and you remain calm, breathing slowly, muscles relaxed, gaze serene, something remarkable occurs. It senses this calm and begins to mirror it, not out of obedience, not through training, but because, in that moment, you have become a member of its herd. Your body has become a beacon of safety. Your heart rate, your breath, your tranquil presence send a silent yet potent message. All is well. The danger is real, but we can navigate it together. And the horse, this creature that has evolved to read social cues with near telepathic precision, absorbs this message and translates it into internal chemistry. Cortisol levels drop. Adrenaline stabilizes. Muscles relax. Instinct and bond converge at a nexus where biology and emotion cease to be discrete entities. This means its fear is not a problem to be corrected. It is a doorway to be walked through. When you understand that the reaction to the storm is not a flaw, but ancestral wisdom, you stop trying to suppress it and begin to accompany it. You become the calm within the chaos. And in doing so, you are not just helping a frightened animal. You are participating in an ancient ritual, a dance of trust that has occurred between living beings since time immemorial. The storm passes, the thunder quiets, the rain stops, and what remains is a connection that did not exist before. A trust that was tested by fear and strengthened by presence. This is what primal instincts truly reveal. Not fragility, but the infinite capacity to trust when someone proves worthy of that trust. When the storm finally subsides, you see him take a deep breath. His head lowers slowly, his ears relax, his entire body seems to exhale accumulated tension, and for a moment, the whole world feels at peace. The air is clean, the ground damp, the scent of wet earth rises like a promise of renewal. And there, beside him, you realize something that cannot be measured in words. Horses carry within them the echo of the earth, a silent radar that listens to the planet before we do. They do not predict the weather, they feel it. And in this ancestral sensitivity lies a powerful reminder for all of us. The further we stray from nature, the more deaf we become to what it tries to tell us. But horses still know how to listen, they still know how to feel, they still carry the wisdom that we humans have forgotten to honor. Now it's your turn. Share in the comments. Did your horse sense an approaching storm before you did? How did he react? Tell your story. It might help others understand the power of this instinct. And if you believe that each of their reactions is a vestige of Earth's wisdom, that each behavior carries millions of years of survival, then subscribe to Inside Horses. Because here, we don't just talk about horses. We honor what they are. We explore what science discovers and what their instinct has known for millennia. And together, we will continue this journey into the invisible world they inhabit. A world where fear is wisdom, where instinct is language, and where trust is the bridge between two beings who have chosen to walk together. Thank you for being here, and until the next video,